All right, good afternoon. Last person before the lunch. Bad news. Uh, okay. I guess I'm not standing between you and the lunch. There's somebody else's. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about. We don't have too much time. This will be the fastest presentation I've made in my life. Changing dynamics of supply chain retail process. Really, the question is who's disrupting who, right? People keep saying the customer is changing, it is disrupting supply chain, but I'm not very sure who's who's actually disrupting whom, right? Is the customer's behavior changing supply chain, or is the supply chain or the model of business disrupting the customer behavior? The customer is always happy to get it. I remember seeing a video, somebody asked Jeff Bezos, what does the next 5 years look like, and what are things you're doing today that you won't do after 5 years? He said, after 5 years, will somebody say they don't want something cheaper? No. Will they don't want it faster? No. Will they want it better? No. Then that's it. So it's got to be faster, better, cheaper. So it's a no-brainer. The customer always wants something that is better. So I think that was a wise answer. Really, the factor really is that several things are happening at the same time. And it is like a convergence of the future. The customer takes time to evolve, and the technology takes time to evolve, and the business acumen takes some time to get there. And therefore, the education that's really happening, clearly education and skilling is a great disruptor as far as the consumer is concerned. And the networking, connectivity, internet penetration, digitization, all this is happening. Imagine after 2016, the amount of digitization that happened. At the same time, if Reliance had not put their entire digital network in place, how would it have worked? It couldn't have worked. So there is convergence that's happening independently, which we don't actually realize. So in a manner of speaking, if you look at the e-commerce, and this is the burning question really, is how's e-commerce, quick commerce, how's all that coming together? So time to delivery, is quick commerce eating up everybody else? So what you were getting in 3 hours, you're getting in 10 minutes. Is good or bad? Fantastic. Why not? But no one is going to say it, I want it slower. No, not 10 minutes. Give it to me after 10 days. No one's going to say that. In fact, at one of the presentations I saw earlier, they're saying that we are now very efficient. We are supplying in 3.5 days. And I'm telling myself, 3.5 days, that's like a dinosaurian, right? I mean, why can't you supply within the same day or next 2-3 hours? This is a garment company making the presentation, but I think that's out of gear. So, but there are always trade-offs that you make with time, right? If your average bill value is low, so if you see, I don't have a pointer, but if it's low and the bill value is high, that's actually unviable. If it's very low and the time to deliver is high, that's unacceptable. So you look where the gravity is happening as far as the quick commerce is concerned. But what's happening at the back, right, is a matter of conjecture as to what impact it has on your profitability. Remember that in supply chain, if you bunch up the time, the cost goes up. If you spread your resources over a period of time, your cost comes down. That's simple math. If your prices are, high and low, I don't have a pointer, so I'm just struggling to. Sorry? No, I don't see it. But I think I think it's pretty obvious. If prices are high, obviously, if you want to deliver in lower time, your prices have got to be high. Can you do low prices and quick time? It's unviable, right? And therefore, the customer has got to make a trade-off. I want it in 10 minutes, but I'm prepared to pay a higher price. That's the right thing to do. And that's the right thing that will happen. So, the landscape, and people have various theories going. Is the quick commerce eating up kiranas and this and that? I don't think so. I think the e-commerce penetration itself is limited to a certain number of people, though it has penetrated to different economic strata, which I agree, but I'm not sure that it is everybody in this world is using e-commerce. So the kiranas are to some extent that it is getting cannibalized, but I think e-commerce is getting affected by quick commerce. But it depends upon how you define success. So But modern trade we are seeing, empirically we are seeing, the modern trade players are growing year on year. They're all doing well. All their financials are looking great. So I'm not sure modern trade is really affected in that sense. From empirical evidence, so this is not data that I'm presenting, but something that I'm seeing. I think this is where it is. So clearly, there was a case for quick delivery which was not institutionalized so far, right? And to get an entry into a crowded mind space of retail, which is so big, $600 billion and 100 years old retail in this country, but it was not institutionalized, so that's a good way to actually enter. But what is the landscape? So over the last 10 years, I think there have been 3 distinct changes that have happened as far as the customer is concerned. And I believe the 3 A's is what driving India. And there's a wonderful book that I read by Rama Bijapurkar called The Lilliput Land, and she so graphically actually breaks up the various kinds of data. I haven't read a better book in a very long time. It's really, but for me, the 3 A's that is affecting India, and this is where the growth is. Aspiration. I said this during my panel meeting as well. India is aspiring. A girl who's 12 years old, in a tier 3 town, she aspires to look like Alia Bhatt. It is possible. She can aspire. Whether she becomes or not is another thing. But the time has gone where you're not allowed to aspire. So aspiration is for free. Aspiration is available to everybody. I can hope to become somebody that earlier people told me I couldn't. So aspiration is there. Affordability. The last 15, 20 years, our economy is growing at 6 to 8, 9%. Where's that money going? And particularly in the last 10 years, with so much money going into the rural area for infrastructure building, etc., there is affordability that's actually going up. And therefore, there is money in the hands of people. And the biggest problem is access. I think all those who are still trying to sell sitting in Bombay will not succeed. You have to get there. I think I'm seeing more and more companies going to tier 1, tier 2 towns. If you don't do that, you don't have an appetite to do that, customer is not coming to you. And it's my theory that reverse migration will be the biggest problem that all of us face. You won't get maids, you won't get drivers, you have to start becoming a good plumber. Like American men are very versatile, Indian men don't cook, they don't do their own plumbing, they don't do their own carpentry, they don't do their anything, right? They got everything. You got a cell phone, and the Babu from downstairs will come. He'll come and he will fix it. But I think this is going to happen. Reverse migration is going to become a problem for all the men in this country. So the traditional kirana, this was the old traditional system. And if you notice the box on the right-hand side bottom is always a trade-off that the customer makes. You have to make that trade. Shopping time, selling price, and convenience. You can't have everything, right? And today you're getting everything because somebody is sitting in some venture capitalist funding, and therefore you're getting everything, but I'm not sure that's going to be the norm. So there's a factory, there's a supplier, there's a stockist, there's a kirana, and the consumer goes to the kirana. The shopping time is high, the selling price is high, the convenience is low. So the layers to the consumer is 3. Then what happened? Then modern trade came, there is a retailer warehouse, there is a retail store, and the consumer came to the store to actually do the shopping. So shopping time still remained high. It requires at least 3 hours to go to a shop and make a grocery shopping. I'm a grocer, I don't know anything else. Selling price became low and convenience became low. So that's a trade-off that you made starting from 1998 when the first grocery retail opened in this country to today. That's the way it has been. Then came e-commerce. So e-commerce, there is a retailer and e-commerce is delivering to people's house. The shopping time is low, the shopping price is low, and the convenience is high. This is where companies started burning money at the back and giving all conveniences to the consumer, but I'm not sure how much the burn will continue. Then you had the omni-channel. Omni-channel is where you have an e-commerce sitting on top of a retailer, existing retailer. They were delivering from the store, the same thing. The shopping time was low, selling price was low, and the convenience was high. And then quick commerce. Quick commerce is where there's a retailer area, there is a dark store, and then it is delivered to people's home by the bikers. The shopping time is low, selling price is high, and the convenience is high, right? Now you make a choice. You want to buy from a kirana, you want to buy for 10 minutes, pay a higher price. You want to buy a whole grocery in 10 minutes. You want that because you're really dying for some, biscuits in the next 10 minutes. The theory is that nobody wants it in 10 minutes. That may be true, but just look at the way quick commerce is growing. Pretty good for them. And I think technologically they've done a fantastic job. So may all prosper. So that's really the summary of where the things have gone. What's going to succeed? Nobody knows. The jury is out. It depends on you, it depends on me, what you want to do, what you have, the way you want to shop. And eventually, the formats will evolve in line with the changing consumer behavior and what the consumer wants. There is no winner take all. There is no such thing. There will be different customers and different models will have to succeed. Savings will still be the big choice to make. No one's going to say that I'm prepared to pay a higher price. Will somebody say, I'm prepared to buy it lower? And in India, savings will drive a lot of things, right? You remember that famous ad which says, a big yacht and says, ye kitne ka hai, kitna deti hai? That's the kind of mindset that Indian consumers have. And I've seen consumers around the world. I think Indian consumer is by far the most difficult to sell to. And the ranges will become relatively low requirement. I am not sure I want to go to a store which has got 70,000 SKUs. People are prepared to settle for less. Fresh produce will become a key customer metrics. Convenience will be built on a new case-to-case basis. Quick commerce is self-limiting in terms of the weight that the biker can carry. And I believe e-commerce, biker can only carry 4-5 kilos, and therefore that's the weight that the biker can carry. And if he's going to carry one piece, I think I would wager he's the most economically unfriendly supply chain in the world, right? The same biker who could have carried 20 pieces is now carrying one piece. It's a no-brainer. Do you want to spend so much of fuel to supply one product to you for which you're not dying for? That is your call. But I think it's a valid format because customer is taking it. So all formats can coexist. Every customer can use all formats depending on the need of the hour. The jury is out. Exciting times. I think there's a disruption that we are saying. I'm not sure that's a disruption. It's a rearrangement of the same things that we had all the time. So I'm within my time.